Thrive is a word that I am passionate about. I work daily to help myself and other people move from surviving to thriving. And before I tell you a little bit more about that, I want to set up today for you. I'm going to ask you 5 questions today. I want you to consider these 5 questions with me, and I will put out the disclaimer that I'm not going to give you the answers. So, the 5 questions are: what are you curious about at work today? Now, I put that work in there because our minds can wander, and we're here as a group of professionals wanting to make an impact in the community. So I want you to think specifically about what are you curious about at work today? Be curious like a child. You know how kids ask lots of questions? What? What is that? Why are we doing that? What do you mean? Why? 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 So get curious, not annoying, but curious about something that's happening for you at work today. It could be a good experience or it could be a challenge that you're facing. I'm going to address challenges again in a minute. What are you enthusiastic about at work today? Or what excites you at work today? Now, this again kind of takes you back to childhood. You know, when kids play, they get excited. You let them out the door to go to recess, they get excited. What if, that's a great question, by the way, what if every time we went to work, we had some excitement and enthusiasm to take with us? What if you took the excitement and enthusiasm that you remember from doing something that you loved as a child and took that to work with you? Third question: what professional relationships are you cultivating today? Now, we're here at a Kiwanis luncheon. This is and has been traditionally possibly called a great networking opportunity. Networking is as good as when you are face to face with another person, and possibly as good as a business card exchange for possible follow up. Do you hear that I'm tentative about networking events? My career has been built on building positive, mutually beneficial relationships with individuals. Yes, at luncheons like this Kiwanis luncheon, at Chamber of Commerce events, at black tie galas for fundraising events. But what really made those events and those networking situations most meaningful in my career was the opportunity to get to know someone and build a professional relationship. So I ask you again, what professional relationships are you cultivating at work? Another note there: it doesn't have to be external relationships. You may have a colleague, a coworker, a co-founder of your business that you've let your relationship, your professional relationship, lapse in the face of needing to get it all done. So tell me and think about today, what professional relationships, externally or internally, are you cultivating today? Now, I've talked about 3 things that I consider to be pretty positive. What are you curious about? What are you enthusiastic about? And what relationships are you building at work? Now I want to ask you to inquire about something that may be a little bit more negative or more triggering. Positive psychology and professional organizational psychology shows that it takes 3 positive experiences to overcome 1 negative. Well, did you see how I've set those questions up? You've got 3 questions that you're reflecting on as we dive into a potentially negative point of your day. So this 4th question is: what challenge are you facing today that you need some help with? What challenge are you looking for an answer to? Now, it's pretty easy to see, but I'll point out that when you get curious about a challenge, you start to find answers. I'm reading a book and studying an author right now named Hal Gregerson from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Center for Excellence. Hal's written a book called Questions Are the Answer, and he's interviewed multiple high-level, very visible entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley to corporations all over the world. And his point is that the best, most curious, most innovative, most creative leaders ask lots of questions. They ask good questions. They ask questions that motivate other people. They ask questions that are not condescending and not penalizing. So in terms of what challenges you are facing, What I want you to examine that, and I want you to think about who you might need to help you. Let's go back to the third question. What professional relationships am I cultivating that can help me with this problem that I have? Is it a coworker? Is it a customer? Is it a colleague? Is it an opportunity to collaborate with someone? So I want you to take a look at that question. The fifth question I have for you today is, what are you grateful for at work? I do a podcast called Working Gratitude. And in that podcast, I ask my guests 3 questions. And the first is this: what are you grateful for at work today? The second is, what challenge have you faced at work or in your career that you can now look at with a lens of gratitude? Because generally, once we overcome a challenge, once we go over the speed bump, once we get through the roadblock or even take a detour, we generally learn something. And if all we have to be grateful for from an experience is that we learned something that we can take forward with us, then we have something to be grateful for. So I really want to encourage you to look at what you are grateful for at work today. Gratitude, as I said, I do a podcast called Working Gratitude. I ask the third question you all are already engaged in, and that is how, through your sense of cultivated gratitude for your professional success and your desire to help the community, how are you making a community impact? Well, Kiwanis is doing that in the lives of children in Jackson and Madison County, so I applaud all of you again for that work. What I'll ask you, because of the work that I do with nonprofit organizations and their boards of directors, is to consider, can I up my game? Is there something else I can do? Is there someone else I can help? Because I'm grateful for the experiences and the success that I've had in my career. I've explored this conversation now with over 75 professionals from a variety of workplace settings, and I want to point out several things that they find. I said I wasn't going to give you answers, but these might be suggestions of some place to look for what are you grateful for at work today. So often, it's a team. The people that you surround yourself with. Circling back, what challenge are you facing that you need some help with, and what professional relationships are you building? Another thing that people are frequently and consistently grateful for is opportunity. Remember that opportunity that you were given by a leader, a mentor, a friend, a customer in the past. Have you thanked that person recently? Have you paid that forward? Have you given another rising professional an opportunity to mentor with you, to learn with you and from you? So the opportunity that you might be thankful for may be something that you can examine at work today. Overall success. What about your success are you grateful for? Now, this is where I add another question. You can see I'm a coach and a collaborator. I ask lots of questions. Once you've established what you are grateful for, how do you define success? And what can you see from that success that you contributed to the situation to help make it happen? Let's say a customer has given you a big chunk of business. It might be that you are grateful to that customer, and I want to encourage that expression of gratitude. However, I want you to examine what you did, what your company did, and what you did as an individual, really, as a leader, what you did to make that successful, and what you did to make that something that you can look at with a heart of gratitude. I say to customers, clients, and donors all over about gratitude. Gratitude to life and work is like stretching, and cardiovascular training is to fitness and wellness. Sometimes you need to stretch before you can lift. Start your day with gratitude. I start mine almost as I get out of bed. You can make a list, you can talk to somebody about what you're grateful for, but make a focused intention about something you are grateful for. Then when you get to work, I encourage you to start over again and get specific about what you were grateful for at work. You may say your day is too busy to start your day that way, But whenever you do your to-do list or you look at your to-do list, make a list of gratitude part of that experience, be it the beginning of your day or the end of the day looking ahead to tomorrow. There is science documented from University of California, Berkeley, Harvard Business School, and countless other leading business education entities that show when people make a list of gratitude at the beginning of the or the end of their day, it changes the work group environment, it changes their success experience, and it lets them take that success home with them in a way that is productive to their life and to their family. So I've asked you 5 questions today. What are you curious about? Curious like a kid? What are you excited about? Again, excited like a kid running to the playground? What relationships are you building at work that can help serve your organization, your sales goals, your sense of success? What challenge are you facing at work that you need to address and that you may need some of those relationships or you may need some of that curiosity? And finally, what are you grateful for at work today? And I want to invite you to look at that with the intention to see how that gratitude can continue to overflow into the lives of your community, your family, and your community. Thank you for having me today, and ask yourself lots of questions.